Preface of Man and His Ancestor, A Study in Evolution. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Recording by Kathleen Nelson. Man and His Ancestor, A Study in Evolution by Charles Morris. Preface. It would be difficult to find any intelligent person in this age of the world who has not some theory or opinion in regard to the origin of man, and perhaps almost as difficult to find any such person who can give a good and sufficient reason for the faith that is in him. This is especially the case with those who look upon man as a product of evolution, a natural outgrowth from the world of lower life, since here simple faith or ancient authority is not sufficient, as in the creation hypothesis, but scientific evidence and logical argument are necessary. It is to enable this class of readers to test the quality and sufficiency of their belief that this book has been prepared. The question of evolutionary origin of man has been by no means neglected by recent authors, yet it has been dealt with chiefly as a side issue in works of a more extended purpose, and largely in technical language, simple to the scientist but difficult to the general reader. The only work that makes this subject its leading theme, Darwin's Descent of Man, adds to it a still longer treatise on sexual selection, so that the subject of man's evolutionary origin cannot be said to have been yet dealt with for itself alone. Darwin's work, moreover, is now nearly 30 years old, and to this extent antiquated, while at best it cannot be considered as well suited for general reading. These considerations have given rise to the present work, in which an effort has been made to present the subject of man's origin in a popular manner, to dwell on the various significant facts that have been discovered since Darwin's time, and to offer certain lines of evidence never before presented in this connection, and which seem to add much strength to the general argument. The subject is one of such widespread interest as to make it probable that a plain and brief presentation of it will be acceptable, both to enable those who are evolutionists in principle to learn on what grounds their acceptance of this phase of evolution stands, and to aid those who are at sea on the whole subject of man's origin to reach some fixed conclusion. For these purposes, this little book has been set afloat, with the hope that it may carry some doubters to solid land and teach some believers the fundamental elements of their faith. End of preface. Chapter 1 of Man and His Ancestor, A Study in Evolution by Charles Morris. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. Evolution versus creation. In any consideration of the origin of man, we are necessarily restricted to two views. One, that he is the outcome of a development from the lower animals. The other, that he came into existence through direct creation. No third mode of origin can be conceived, and we may safely confine ourselves to a review of these two claims. They are the opposite of each other in almost every particular. The creation doctrine is as old almost as thinking man. The evolutionary doctrine belongs in effect to our own generation. The former is not open to evidence. The latter depends solely upon evidence. The former is based on authority, the latter on investigation. The doctrine of direct creation can merely be asserted. It cannot be argued. The statement once made, there is nothing more to be said. It is an ipse dixit, pure and simple. The doctrine of evolution, on the contrary, founded as it must be on ascertained facts, is fully open to argument, and depends for its acceptance on the strength and validity of the doctrine in its favor. If the doctrine of the direct creation of man had been originally presented in our own day, proof of the assertion would have been at once demanded, and the only evidence admissible would have been that of witnesses of the act of creation. There could, of course, have been no human witnesses, as there would have been no preceding human beings, and witnesses not human have, in the present day, no standing in our courts. As the case stands, however, the doctrine arose in an age when man did not trouble himself about evidence, but was content to accept his
Sample complete. Ready to continue?